So I think my one single advice would be do your research. So if you are interested in Afro Latin dance forms and you want to learn and you are confused about where to start, how to start, is that definitely do your, they're intimidated by, how close this dance form is and all of that. Do your research. Please understand that this is not our culture. This is somebody else's culture and we are trying to acquire it. And the right way to acquire it is to give respect to their culture. By first way of giving respect to their culture is to know about them, to study them, to do their research. Yes, you can only see two people dancing so closely with each other, but why they're doing it, from where this has music has been born, and who, and your research would also involve that find out teachers who are also educating in the right way with a culturally appropriate way. So just like how we also would not like our culture and dance forms being mutilated by Western people, Western world. So even it's the same thing with this also. African people, they don't appreciate, because end of the day, the especially Kizomba actually has been born out of a very painful period in their life. So when they see Kizomba being danced in an unauthentic way outside, it hurts them. It's
Of course.
disrespectful to them.
Yeah.
So so when you consider learning, so I always feel that learning a new art form or a dance form is not just about training your bodies, it's also about training your ears and your mind.
Hi, hello, vanakkam, and welcome to Nadanam, a dance podcast. I am Anoop Karthick, the host of this show. This podcast is for dancers around the world or someone who is just curious about the world of dance. This gives you insightful interviews, inspiration galore, tips and tricks, and of course, community connection. So, on that note, I am very glad to introduce my teacher, mentor, founder of Amateurs, the very elegant Amy, to our show. Welcome, Amy. How are you doing?
I'm good, Anoop. Thank you so much for having me. And first of all, really big, heartiest congratulations to you for even starting this venture. This is very interesting
Thank
because
you.
I'm sure as dancers, all of us have really amazing stories to share, because each
Yes.
person's dancing reason, their journey is, yes, it is educative, it is inspirational, it's motivational. At the least, it is entertaining. So it's
Yeah, of course.
definitely, this is a very good, it's a good thing that you started. Congratulations.
Thank you so much on that note. So first of all, I would like to. I'm just curious about knowing things about you and how you carry on things. So first thing is that can you share with us the story behind the creation of Amateurs, the dance school? What inspired you to start this journey?
Okay, so I was really not a dance teacher or dance school owner material to begin with. Okay, that was never the plan. I was just happy to be socially dancing.
Okay.
Because I have been dancing from the age of 3, and my background is Bharatnatyam dancing. And I've done enough of stage shows, and I've had my fill of solo dancing or performances or showcasing
Okay.
myself. So, when in 2009 I got into Latin dancing or social dancing, the whole idea of why I got attracted to social dancing was because the social part of it, because it's something that we do together, you know.
Okay.
So, like as together with each other, there's so much of connection involved and not just like performing for the stage sort of a thing. So, but yes, social dancing means two people, right? Two
Yeah.
people have to be involved in a dance. So, when I started in Bangalore and then I had to, for work-related reasons, I had to move to Chennai, I saw that, there are very few women in the community.
Okay.
And in the social scene, when we go dancing, they're like 15, 20 great dancers, men, and there are hardly 5 female dancers. and those five followers would not even get a chance to like sit or rest or drink water or even go to the
Okay.
washroom of that sort.
Yeah.
So we were like dancing, dancing, dancing back to back. So I felt, okay, there's this is a little problematic, and very unfortunately, that's the only thing that we see only in our country. So everywhere else, there are always more women and more
More.
followers
Of course.
everywhere
Yeah.
else.
Yeah.
Yeah, so only in India. So I try to identify a problem that why this is happening. Yeah, so I think that's nothing to do with the dance community as much as it's to do with the general mindset of the society in India. So, a general the societal construct that is around women is very controlling and very restrictive. So it doesn't give many women the freedom, even if they want to go dancing, it doesn't give them the freedom to like, okay, let's just pack my shoes and just go out dancing, you know. They
Okay.
have to plan around their family, they have to plan around their kids and permissions from either parents or husband.
Lot of
So, you know,
struggles.
so a lot of things,
Yeah.
exactly. And then they have the also the thing that if I go out well dressed and I go dancing and I'm dancing with other men, then, you know, there's also a character judgment which
Yeah.
will happen. So, so that is only, I think, it's, I mean, I love my country to bits, but I think
Yeah.
there's a traditional, you know,
Side of it
disconnect when
too.
it
Yeah.
comes to accepting these kind of social dance forms. So, but yeah, so I realized that, okay, I need to bring in more women. And I also saw that in the classes in general, the classes are mostly lead centric. You know, the
Okay.
classes, they are only teaching the moves to the leads, and the followers, even though they are spending the same amount of money, same amount of time and everything, the followers would be treated like a prop, you know. So, and the tips, they would only be given a little bit of tips and little bit of suggestions throughout the class. They would not
Okay.
be taught the content. You know what I mean,
Okay.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so they would not be given the content of the whole 1 hour. And so for the followers to gain anything, the only way for them was to go to lady styling classes, you know? So,
Okay.
so
Yeah.
that's why I realized that, okay, maybe I could, so, and this is, like I said, this is, you know, this is in no way any offensive to any other dance schools or anything, but that's just
Yeah. Yeah.
how the society and the community is constructed, you know, this is nobody's fault. So I decided that, you know, maybe I'll try to give some additional incentive for
Okay.
more women to come and more women to stick around. So because even if they are coming, you know, crossing all those hurdles and society barriers to get themselves to studio, they are not getting the value that they would have generally wanted. So
Okay.
they are not sticking around. So even if they are coming, they are not sustaining. So I
Okay.
wanted to give a space which is like safe and secure and giving them value for their effort to and where they are constantly growing. Because also I see that, you know, the learning pace of because leading is hard, okay? As a
Yeah.
man, to lead, to, you know, come up with the choreography, instantly improvise while you're dancing with a partner in a social setup where everybody is watching, it's very nerve-wracking actually for the
Yeah.
men. So,
Of
you
course.
know,
Yeah.
their growth curve is slightly slower. And because women are not like, you know, they don't have that much pressure when they are social dancing, their growth curve is really steep because they learn faster.
Yeah.
So,
Of
you know,
course.
so
Yeah.
that's why I wanted to provide us and because when they are ending up going to the classes, they feel that, okay, you know, I'm upgrading faster, but my colleagues or my teacher is not giving me as much content because even the teachers are not upgrading fast. Yeah. So, I mean, as at least at the pace that these women would have liked, you know, that sort of
Okay.
thing.
Okay.
So I decided that, okay, you know, let me provide a safe space for women and a non-judgmental space where they do not have to worry about how am I looking or whether I'm a particular size for dancing, whether I'm pretty enough to dance, whether I'm fair enough to dance, whether I'm thin enough or curvy enough to dance. So these and all mindsets are not there, and that judgmental surface is removed. Plus, I give them a space where they are continuously growing. It's not that I give them a content and I level them up a little bit. I also make an effort to learn every month something new. I go to classes, I take mentorship so that, I continuously give them enough content to keep coming back and keep upgrading. So, in various ways, my goal was to keep giving them more and more incentive, whether it's a safe space, whether it's a non judgmental space, whether it's a space where there is more training and upgradation. So
Okay.
I thought that okay, it was mostly to and I see that when the women start coming in bigger numbers, automatically the men will be like, okay, you know
Yeah.
what, there are women coming. So it gives them a motivation to also
Yes.
upgrade themselves. Gives them a motivation to keep coming and start learning. And so you help one section of the society and you
Which
end
helps
up
the whole
benefiting
community.
the whole
Community.
community in
Yeah.
general. So, the whole point is to like build up the whole community to grow together. So
Yeah.
the with that growth mindset is why I created Amy Cheers, so that like it means like amateur with my
Okay.
name Amy in it,
Emmy. Yeah.
so that
That's a good idea. Yeah.
yeah, so it was a word play because I
Uh,
wanted a space that we will always consider ourselves that yes, no matter um how much we learn and how much we keep growing, we always have that humility that yes, we are an amateur for life, we are a student
yeah.
for life. There's
Yeah.
no teacher and there's no professional, there's no expert. Because once we come into that mindset that, yeah, we are experts, then we stop learning, we stop growing.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
when we stop learning and we stop growing, the community stops learning and growing. So,
Yes.
so with that mindset is why am I going, you know what, I'm going to be an amateur for life. I will continue growing, even when you came and you joined the
Yeah.
teachers training and everything, I was learning too, you saw that,
Yes.
and
Yes.
even I
Yes.
was
Yeah.
upgrading too.
Yeah.
So that the point is learning should never stop, and the learning should be more inclusive of people of every background, every shape, size, color, and to provide a space which is more like family friendly. So people should, like, when women look at me, they see, okay, she's married, she's a mom, and she's still doing it. She has more, like, trying to include more women, and so that way, it's like kind of spiraling the community to grow together.
Okay. So that's a great inspiring thing what you have started, and it keeps on motivating people to come in and do stuffs without any barriers.
Yeah.
So great
Yes.
initiative, Emmy. I really appreciate it. And by that note, as a dancer, choreographer, and performer, what drew you specifically to Afro Latin styles like Kizomba, more particularly? How do you incorporate
Yeah.
these styles into your teaching and kind of performance? How do you handle that?
Uh, okay, so yes, so as a dancer, I started, like I said, I started with Bharatanatyam, and that was mostly a solo, or a performances oriented dance. It was not a
Okay.
social dance. So
Okay.
the whole reason I got into Latin or Afro styles is because it was social. It was because you have to dance with somebody else, and it's like you can dance with anybody and everybody, and it's not really choreographed, it's mostly improvised, right? So
Okay.
you listen to music on the spot, you dance with a leader or a follower, and you adjust your leading and following capability on the spot. So it's that element of surprise, the element of unpredictability, which first drew me to social dancing.
Okay.
And so I start with salsa bachata first, and then when I heard kizomba music and the African rhythms, there's some sort of pull I felt towards that music, towards that culture, which I cannot really explain in words. It felt like so deep. It's just stirred something up in my soul so much that I felt that, wow, this is amazing. I want to know more. I want to hear more. I want to learn more. That's when I started like really researching into Kizomba, the
Okay.
Angolan art forms, the background, the history, and I realized that, as these are also end of the day comes from a lot of tribal dance forms, and they are very, very, very connected to the elements of the earth, nature, and people in general. So that connection is something which appeals to me so much, is what I thought that, I need to bring this in my life,
Okay.
and people need to know about this, and I need to bring this even to my students. So Kizomba is something which just felt like, like family, it felt like
Yeah.
really like connection, like a place to like bond, or a channel to like really bond with each other. And then when I saw the kizomba, which everyone was doing in and around the world, which was very different from the Angolan
Yeah.
kizomba, which is where kizomba was born. And I realized that there is a lack of people are dancing kizomba because music is extremely appealing, and but then what they're doing, what they're dancing, what they're teaching is definitely not authentic, per se. So that's why I realized I wanted to like just go and bring in the authentic, like what truly Kizomba means for the Angolan people, and bring it out to our country, and so that everybody learns that not just what is Kizomba for the Angolan people, but also how Kizomba has transformed into and branched out into different styles like urban keys, tarasho, tarasinia, and how they have originated and how their musical interpretation works. And anyway, this is like a
Mm.
social dance form.
Yeah.
So choreography, performance wise, it doesn't give much scope, to be honest. It doesn't give
Okay.
much scope. So I started getting a little experimental that, okay, how can I present Kizomba on stage, although it is primarily a social dance form where you just dance with each other. And that's when I started doing like, okay, again, my projects are mostly very ladies or female centric, because, not that I have anything against the men, it's just, it's giving
Yeah.
them more incentive to come. It's
Yes,
just
yes,
giving,
yes, of
because
course.
I see there are a lot more men in the community,
Yeah.
and women are not there, or women are not sticking around. So I'm like, okay, let me give them more
Pull them. Yeah. Mm.
more sort of hooks. Yeah, more hooks, so that, eventually the men get some partners to dance with. So,
Oh,
I decided that, okay, let me see if I can give them an incentive of stage performance. Let
okay.
me see if I can teach them how to lead. Let me see, so, and then maybe perform on the stage how to lead. So like that, slowly, slowly, I started bringing them, like, women, we like dressing up, and we like
Yeah,
putting on
yeah.
some costumes and everything. And,
Yeah,
once I give them a choreography, it gives them a sudden drive that, yes, we have
yeah.
to practice, we have to perfect it. And, so that sort of drive is what I kept on giving them through choreographies. And then it just suddenly everything started getting, it just blew up, because Kizomba, which was technically not known to be a
Performance
stage
kind of.
performance
Yeah.
material.
Yeah. Mm,
Exactly.
mm.
So, but then everybody was like, "Oh, Amy and her students, let's just call them Amy and her students, let's call them, because she has something interesting to present." And, there are men. So we even like my choreographies definitely were partner work as well. So, and we would do like one guy leading two women, and, everything. We did a lot of experimental stuff that
Okay.
way. So that's how I tried to like mainly agenda was to show people that Kizomba has so much potential, and not just on the social dance floor, but also as a stage performance, and also as a tool to empower the women, or to give them some more reasons to like come back and to stick around.
Nice. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So that's great. So bringing people into Kizomba is pretty much hard
Yeah.
that time, but you have done it so easily, and it's keep on continuing
No, it was
till
not
now. Yeah,
easy.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But it looks easy when you do it. So it's kind of pleasure
Thank you.
to. Yeah. So. I know that you are organizing social events too. How quite challenging it is, and
Yeah.
what strategies have you found most effective in creating a welcoming and inclusive atmosphere for dancers of all levels at your events?
Yeah, that's a good question. Yes, socials and events are very, very difficult to like I said, because the first challenge is social dance form or these kind of partner dancing are generally not accepted. So
Yeah.
whenever I try to reach out any venues to host us, they will first look me up and down that okay, partner dancing, men and women dancing with each other. They already have so much of skeptical mindset around it. So I think I got lucky because because dance got me to network through some amazing people and who were already pretty big influencers and who helped me get the venues and all sort of stuff. But I think the single most important tool which helped me and the single most important method that helped me get these venues and get the social to organize the social events was collaboration.
Okay.
Because end of the day, this is a community and we cannot go alone. And we are all collectively trying to present a culture which is somebody else's culture, not our own country. So if a single person is doing it, it becomes extremely challenging. But when you do it together in a collaborative mindset, you would collaborate with other dance schools, other teachers who are also like-minded and who also want to develop and grow the community. And I personally go out of my way to make sure that I do not like step into the toes of other dance schools in the city so that so even if they are having competitive mindset with each other, they generally do not have a competitive mindset with me because I make sure that we are like maintaining our own lane and coming together to collaborate on certain events, and then we are again going back into our lane. And I make sure that whenever they have events, I and my students go and support them. And so there's a mutually respectful exchange that happens. And so that's the reason. So when I end up doing any social events, so everybody from all backgrounds, they keep coming. And so that is an example which you set to other future generations of teachers, number one. And also it's an example that you set to your students also. So they see that, schools and schools are collaborating with events with each other. So no matter whatever is my dancing level, whichever party or an event I go to, I will have enough number of different kind of people, enough number of different varying levels of dancer to dance with. So
Okay.
it is not intimidating for them anymore because they see a very harmonious and collaborative environment. Yeah.
Okay.
So that
Yeah.
itself takes away half of the taboo, and definitely that makes the journey much easier and much less challenging. Because, like I said, acceptance of this dance form itself is a big challenge. So, which is why venues and everything starts becoming more challenging. And then the next thing, yes, so yeah, I always go and talk about these venues, meetings and everything. I take my husband with me. So
Okay.
so they know that, they are doing it as a couple, they're doing it as a family.
Okay. Yeah.
So, so a little bit of, so their doubts are put to rest that, okay, they are kind of trying to do it as a family thing and it will not get into something weird, in
Yeah.
their
Mm.
mind.
Yeah.
So, and also because, and I think I get a little extra challenge because I am trying to do things in Chennai,
No.
which is my city, but I don't belong to Chennai. So, I'm in
Yeah.
for so anytime I go and sit for the meetings or any of this sort for venues and socials or anything, they look at me like an outsider, okay? Because, for them I'm an
Yeah.
outsider, so okay,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
this is
Yeah.
an
Mm.
outsider. She's coming to come here and trying to do something. What, immediately the doubts and question marks starts
Yes.
popping up in their heads.
Yeah.
So,
Mm.
but then I make an additional effort to, like, I have learned to speak the language. I
Okay.
go and try to talk to them that, hey, I live here. I'm settled here for the past 10 years. I've been running my dance school for 7 years, and we are
Okay.
again more women trying to, like, I'm trying to empower women. So these are all things that I have to, like, it makes me come across as somebody who is a man hater or who's a very, feminist, pseudo feminist,
Okay.
but I'm
Okay.
actually not that person. But I
You're
try
not.
to
You're not.
project it like that. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
try to project it like that so that,
Okay.
the doubts and everything kind of goes away. It's just that,
Okay.
just so that, they feel a little more comfortable around this.
Okay. So, this is how you do your collaboration and keep
Yeah,
running your events
yes,
across
yes,
yeah, cities.
100%.
Yeah. So I know there are lot of dancers in Chennai, especially in this rapidly evolving dance scene. What do you think sets Kizomba apart and makes it such a compelling dance style for dancers and enthusiasts in particularly in Chennai?
Well, okay, particularly in Chennai,
Yeah.
I think the indigenous dance forms, we even whether it you talk about Kollywood or the Tollywood, the Tamil dance
Yeah.
industry, or even hip hop is really big here, and any other dance forms, they're all very high energy dances,
Yeah.
like you really have like kuttu dancing, tribal
Yeah.
dancing, anything
Yeah.
is like very jumpy and very high energy.
Yeah.
So I think when these guys coming from such a high energetic and very jumpy kind of dance forms, which are really great, definitely they're very
Yeah.
appealing and all of
Yeah.
that, when they listen to Kizomba music or when they see Kizomba dancing, it immediately has a calming effect on them.
Yeah.
You know, they hear that, oh, okay, this is very nice and this is very comforting, It's not easy. It looks easy, but it's
Yeah.
not easy. There's so much of technique involved. So it's not easy, but then the illusion, the visual illusion that they get when they see Kizomba is very comforting, because
Yeah.
that's exactly where Kizomba was born out of. The whole reason Kizomba was born was, the Angola was in a civil war state for about 25 years, and that's the beginning of it is when Kizomba came into being.
Yeah.
And the whole point of having Kizomba was Kizomba literally means party. Kimbundu
Yeah.
language, it means party. More specifically, house party or backyard parties. So, so when there was curfew time in Angola after 8 o'clock, and then people would not be allowed to go out after 8 o'clock. So before 8 o'clock, they would just go to some, family members,
Yeah.
some uncle's aunt's house, and with a potluck and everything, and they would be in their backyard chilling and playing some music, and they would be dancing kizomba, which is just, and that's why it's danced in a very family setup where uncles, aunts, mom, dads, daughters, children, everybody, grandmoms are like kind of leading and following each other,
Okay.
embracing each other, like hugging each other and dancing and kind of comforting each other that, okay, we are in a situation which is unpredictable and which is we don't know when it's gonna go good or bad, but at least we have each other.
Yeah.
So that comforting factor was already existing in Kizomba as a dance form. So when we so and dance is a universal language, right? So music
Yeah.
and dance is universal language. So even if you don't understand the lyrics, you will definitely sense the vibe of it. So when other in Chennai dance community, when they see Kizomba, it
Mm,
immediately gives a very calming and comforting vibe to their high energy dancing that they're used to. So,
yeah. Mm,
where they used to see dancing as heavy workout and something which you need to move around a lot, suddenly they see Kizomba like, okay, you don't need to be so, you can be relaxed also while
yeah.
dancing, and dancing can also be relaxing and can be comforting. So, so that really, I think, appeals to the dancers here, and which is why they get attracted to Kizomba, thinking that this is a very relaxing dance form. And then when they come here, they're like, oh my God, there is a lot of technique to it, but
Yeah.
they're already hooked, they're already interested, they're already sold. The
Yes.
music is, wow, I want to listen to this music all the time. And oh, this is a very nice embracing kind of a dance form where I can just relax. And yeah,
Yeah.
so
Okay.
I think that's the comforting part of this of Kizomba is what appeals to the dancers in Chennai, especially
Okay.
who are used to very high energy dances in general.
Okay. As a hip hop dancer myself, I feel so.
Yeah.
First, when I saw Kizomba dance, I just felt how can someone some two persons can dance like this. I'm just curious about knowing things behind it. So will practice
Yeah.
and come here, or they will just connect here and do it? How it is done? I'm kind of confused first. So then I got to know after attending classes from you and several others. So it's quite it's there are no words to explain how Kizomba gives for a
Yeah.
dancer and how it goes throughout his life. So it's good to have a lot of Kizomba dancers around Chennai, and as a women found,
Absolutely.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So my next question is, as a women founder in the dance community, have you faced any I think I'm sure might have faced a lot of struggles and challenges, but tell me about a unique challenge or an opportunity, or how have you navigated them, and what advice do you have for aspiring female dance entrepreneurs?
Well, actually, the thing is that as a female entrepreneur or a female dance community leader, I honestly did not face much challenges to set up, to be honest.
Okay.
Because
Okay.
the reason being, when I started out my company in 2016, there were literally no other
Yeah.
female dance company owners in the Latin and Afro Latin community.
Yeah.
Yes, there was AMD who there was one other female entrepreneur, but she had been doing it and she has mostly like jazz, contempt, like she is also into all other dance forms like ballet, and Latin was just a small part of it, or Afro
Okay.
Latin was just a small part of it. So, that she was there already and she was super senior, okay? So, so when I came in as a female entrepreneur, she was more than happy to welcome me in because, like, okay, somebody else has also come.
Okay.
And also the other male dance community leaders, they were also kind of happy and more welcoming that okay, at least now a female dance community leader has come who's like solely for Latin, and Afro Latin and Kizomba. So, this will encourage more women to come. So, it will end of the day in the social dance floor where you go, where every dance schools and companies come together, they will have more women dancers to dance with. So when
Okay.
I came in, I was actually pretty, welcomed with open arms and open hearts. That hey, it's good that you're doing so, which is why uh, the reason, like I said, that I try to collaborate and support everyone else is because when I started out, I received that same kind of love and support from everybody else. So I'm just paying my dues. I'm just
Okay.
paying my, because when I started out, I had the love and support and encouragement from lot of these senior male dance company owners, and they were initial days they used to really like guide me and mentor me, and sometimes give me advices. It's, even if we did not agree with each other on certain points, even
Okay.
our conflicts and fights would be very kind of respectful. You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah.
It would be very respectful. So I was always made to feel so setting up was not the challenge, because when I set up, there was literally a demand for it. There wasn't anybody else.
Okay.
So my challenges came was continuing,
Okay.
when I wanted to like, so sustaining it was the challenge, because when I was sustaining it, I had a set of values like, like I will run my company based on zero tolerance. I will not allow bad behavior. I will not allow, because, I was very protective of my girls, like
Okay.
fiercely protective about my girls, that because I worked so hard to get them in, I worked so hard to give them enough incentive to stay. So I will
Okay.
not let anything happen to them, even if somebody is rubbing them the wrong way and anything. So I used to aggressively defend my girls. And
Yeah.
that sort of I realize it's a learning journey, right, in everybody. And I have
Mm.
I'm not an egoistic person that who would say that no, okay, what I do is always correct. So yes, I've had made my own share of mistakes, because while aggressively promoting that kind of protection towards my girls, sometimes it did not go down well with certain other people, because they were used to certain behaviors being acceptable on the dance floor, because the girls would not open up. They would either
Okay.
feel violated and they will keep quiet, or they will feel violated and they'll say that I'm not coming back here again, and that's it. So they would not have the courage or the voice to even tell, or or highlight some incident that has happened. And because even if they did highlight, the other community leaders would not take any concrete action for it. So these girls would come and tell me, because I they know that Amy is aggressively defending us, protecting us. So we need to like, if we tell her anything, then definitely there will be a concrete action which will come. And the concrete action meant like I had to have some tough conversations with certain senior members of the dance community, or I had to have certain tough conversations and give them words of warnings and anything to even newer members. So sustaining that zero tolerance policy.
Hello.
Oh,
Mm.
continue. Yeah. So that's what, so starting up was not the issue, was not the trouble, but sustaining a certain methodology or a certain value system, that was a little bit of a challenge. But my advice to even other women and entrepreneurs was, have a set value system and have a set business ethics when you stand out, and stick to it. So even if it is challenging,
Okay.
even if it means sometimes losing customers, or even if it means sometimes losing support also of the community, but stick to it. Because over the past 7 years, although I have had these challenges to maintain or to stay true to my value system, but I did not deviate from it. And what has happened as a result of it is
Okay.
that now I have a name, and I have a image in the community, which is image to the seniors and the existing community members, and also an image to the new people who are joining. Okay, so that image has been
Okay.
maintained because I stuck to my value system, and because I stuck to my ethical standards, and that has brought me respect. So I think if you see long term, sticking true to your values really, so if I would have compromised, let's say, just because things were getting more challenging, if I would have compromised my values just to like, okay, fine, you know what, if me being like this is pissing off people, let me tone it down, or let me, allow things to just to, go on the way it was going, just like other entrepreneurs. If I would have done that, then I would not have had the respect and the image and the projection that I carry with me now. And that is a little bit of my pride. Yes, I am very proud of that, that, I've been able to maintain that image. And I think because of that, the kind of work that I get now, or the kind of clients that I get now, their expectation is already set at one place, that okay, Amy
Standard.
is
Yeah.
quality is up here, and yeah, a standard is up here. So that's a standard which they come expecting when they come to me, and which I think is a good thing. And as a female entrepreneur, in the long run, your journey gets easier. So you have to put up with, let's just say, less bullshit later on.
Okay, so that's the takeaway for all the women entrepreneurs listening to this.
Yeah,
So you can take this and
yeah,
interpret into your thing and build up. Yeah. So I think
yeah, yeah.
community
Have a
building is an
solid,
essential.
have a solid
Yeah.
found. Yeah, sorry,
Yeah. Yeah. Carry
sorry.
on. Carry on. Yeah. Carry on. Carry on. Carry on.
So yeah, so that's what, having a solid foundation of your business ethics and values, and sticking to it, no matter how difficult it gets. So that is definitely is what I would
Yes. Yes.
suggest.
Yes. Yeah,
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 you were
yeah.
saying?
That's that will keep them going. Yeah, that will definitely keep them growing and moving forward in their community. So I know the community building is an essential part of social dancing. How do you like see a sense of unity and connection among dancers in Chennai, both within your school and at social events as well?
Yes, absolutely. I think the whole point, whole reason that social dancing exists is because of the, like I said, it's the appeal of the community. This is something that you can do
Yeah.
together. And bringing people together is the whole agenda of social dancing, of anything of that sort. So when I go to the social dancing, yes, there's a lot of mutual respect, lot of collaborative mindset, and even among my students, it's crazy because the minute I announce one project, and yes, it takes a little bit of time to for them to sign up, because commitments, dates, everything, so but once they have committed to a certain project, and we do the choreography, rehearsals, buying costumes, and, doing the video shoot and everything over a period of 2 to 3 months. So even absolute strangers who never knew each other, we end up forming a tiny family unit,
Yes.
because
Yeah.
you are a dancer,
Yeah.
choreographies and everything literally brings and bonds people together, because
Yeah.
you are like watching out for each other. Somebody is falling sick, somebody is getting medicines for them, and somebody like in the green room, you're like fixing each other's makeup, hair,
Yeah.
costumes. You're literally like this non-verbal bond which you're taking
Yeah.
care, we are nurturing each other, and we are being each other a high
Yeah.
person also, like, you got this, you go girl, and this, you look
Yeah.
amazing, and no, it's like, especially in my girls gang, no, so they say, hey, no, I'm looking a little fat here and there and all that. No, 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 you look gorgeous, you look amazing. So that kind of like
Yeah.
encouragement is there continuously, which is a very positive flow of energy, right? And so even, and of course, rehearsals means literally blood and sweat, literally, so
I know that. I know
you are
that.
bonded. Exactly. So you're literally bonded, somebody's heel is breaking, and
Yeah.
somebody cuts and bruises. And we are literally, like being each other's nurses and all of that. So I think that is a very beautiful bond to have.
Yeah.
And by the end of the project, people are all like, "Oh my God, it's over. What are you doing next, Amy? What is this? Can we do something?" So there's this momentum of see, end of the day, we are human beings. We are social animals. We seek connection. We thrive on connection.
Yeah. Mm.
So even now, look at us. I'm sitting in Chennai. You are in the UK. And
Yeah.
odd times, odd hours with our families and everything in place, your kid,
Yeah.
my kid. But yet
Yeah.
still, it's the
We are
dance, it's
connected.
that
Yeah.
connection that we are seeking for it, we are looking for it, we are searching
Of
for it. Is
course.
that why we are still here? We are still here
Yeah.
in this platform, and we are
Yeah.
still, and the whole reason of why you are even doing this podcast is because so that you can give a taste of this connection to your viewers,
Yeah.
and they get to know that how powerful art or dance is, that can bring people from any part of the planet, any community, any background, any language, and we are still here together doing this because we seek, and by genetically we are meant to just seek connection, and that's what social dancing
Yes.
brings to you. So yeah, so I think I couldn't have said it any better than this.
Yes, yes, of course. Even for me, when I started Afro Latin styles, I was in Coimbatore, and there is no such thing over there. I used to travel to Chennai and Bangalore for learning things. So
Yes.
this community and the overwhelming, welcoming nature and the friendly
Yes.
atmosphere which push me to go further and learn things, and it's quite of in a comfort zone as well. So the community is
Yeah.
so good in India, or the community itself is so big, and it's so good to new peoples, actually. Yeah. So that is what I
Yeah.
wanted to share it.
Yes.
And my next question is like, as a dancer, as a choreographer, as a performer, you might have had a huge number of memories to share, but can you share a memorable moment or an experience very particularly, which feels that you are so happy in it, or you think it is worth to be in this space?
Okay, so yes, there is one particular memory which is very, very dear to me. And the funny part is that I was not even physically part of that memory. Okay. I was
Okay.
remotely part of it.
Okay.
But it is
Interesting.
still the most special, very, very special to me.
Mm.
Okay, so last year when I was pregnant, not last year, means in 2022.
Okay.
So before I got pregnant, I had started a choreography project. So I had started leading ladies project just to teach women how to lead, because in COVID time, in COVID
Okay.
time, everybody's at home, nobody's able to dance with each other. And the girls, they were only getting lady styling classes online. So, and movement is necessary. So I thought, you know what? And I just announced randomly that, if anybody, I'm going to teach leading, and since you're at home and you have nothing else to do, and if you
Okay.
want to just add on another skill, so I'm gonna teach some leading techniques. So if anybody is interested, please, like women, but
Okay.
anybody is interested, please come join. And with I put up a Facebook post, and I think within a day there were 12 people who signed up from all over the world. There
Oh.
was one girl from France, one from US,
Okay.
two girls from one from South Africa, one from Mali, then one from Vietnam, two from Malaysia, and the rest were from different cities in India.
Okay.
And a few of them were my already existing students also. They're like, okay, finally she's teaching us how to lead. So that's so it was nothing. I mean, I didn't have any plan for the leading ladies. It was just something extra to do during COVID, that sort of a
Okay.
thing. But then when COVID got over and festivals started happening, and these girls were like, Amy, let's do something with the leading ladies, revive because I didn't have any plans to revive the leading ladies once everything
Okay.
opened up and we were because okay, now everything is open, go dance, go
Yeah.
have fun,
Yeah. Yeah.
So but then I thought that okay, you know what, I have always been very experimental when it comes to stage shows, right? So we had done lady styling, we had done two people following one guy, we had done, multiple costume changes, we have done a lot of other experimental things. So I'm like, okay, let me see if we can do like a leading ladies performance, you
Okay.
know, like girls leading girls,
Leading
and then
girls.
in between switching the roles, that who was following the previous section will become a leader and the other person who was so we did a little bit of, and it was one of the most challenging choreographies that I've ever done, and it was one of the most satisfying choreographies also which I had done.
Okay.
And because it was by the leading ladies, two of the girls who were from Malaysia, they learned the choreography online,
Okay.
and we met up at a festival, and they there was the first time they practiced with the whole group together. Okay,
Okay.
so there were four couples, eight girls. Okay,
Okay.
and they all did the performance, and guess who was not there?
Oh
Who was
my
not
God.
there?
How is it possible even?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because post-COVID is when I
Okay.
had started my fertility treatment also,
Okay.
and that was a very long and challenging phase in my personal life.
Oh,
And finally, out after a lot of struggle, I had just gotten pregnant,
okay.
and I was in my first trimester. So, I
Oh,
was barely like 2 months,
yeah.
like it had just been 1 month since I got my news,
You have to
and I
be
was
very
still in a
careful.
very
Yeah.
critical period.
Mm.
Exactly, I was in a very critical period, so I was not allowed to travel. And
Okay.
this choreography, because it was challenging, and because I had to teach girls on other country, and
Okay.
they were coming down to Delhi for the festival, and so they had to, like, the work had begun almost 6 months before, but I got
Okay.
pregnant in between, and I was so heartbroken that this is my most favorite and the most proudest moment as a choreographer, this particular choreography, and I'm not able to be a part of it. Okay. So, but these
Okay.
girls went out and they smashed it. They were
Great.
amazing on
Nice.
stage.
Nice.
And
Nice.
this
Yeah.
was literally the first time in the history of social dancing that there were leading ladies performance.
Oh,
Leading
that's
ladies on
so
the social
huge.
dance floor
Yeah.
it still comes. So it was basically history being made in Asia, and
Okay.
I was in the center of it, but I was not
That's not
physically
there.
present. And
Okay.
And so, so there was this one, so one of my students only who was not performing, he made a video call, and I
Okay.
was sitting here in middle of the night, and I saw them perform, and I saw how the audience reacted, and I saw how much encouraging everybody was to see that, wow, leading ladies first time on stage, it's historical, it's amazing, and they received rave reviews, and I was just there on the screen, I was crying my eyes out.
Oh my God.
I was
Uh,
crying so much. It was such an emotional moment. It was such a memorable moment. So these girls, they didn't even stay back on the stage to take the praises. Okay, so they
Okay.
finished the performance, they immediately went backstage, they continued the conversation with me, they were hugging each other,
Ah.
they were crying, they were like,
Uh,
it was such a beautiful moment, at that point, and I was a mother, a first time mother, I have a baby inside me.
yeah.
But that was a moment I felt that I was always a mother, you know. I was always a mother to these girls. And yes, there is
Oh,
a
that's
baby
so
inside
nice.
me, but
Yeah.
but this choreography, this leading ladies project is also a baby to me. It's my child. So, and
Okay.
I have
Mm.
seen how my child has brought joy to so many people, and how my child has created history on stage. And, as a mother, it was a different level of pride that I felt, a different level of love that I felt for these girls, for making my dream come true, for making my child present on the stage, even in my absence, and doing such a great job
Okay.
of it. So, that felt a moment I felt extremely blessed that something I must have done right in my past life, that I got to experience that moment. And that was only
Nice.
because of dancing. And I think that's a moment I will never forget. I was sitting in my couch, my husband was next to me, we both were watching the show, and I was
Okay.
like crying. I think it was the hormones. It was also the hormones and everything.
Mm.
It was beautiful. It was emotional. It was funny, but yeah, clearly it was a very proud moment in my career. Although I was
Nice.
physically not present, and the thing was that, so of course in the first trimester you're not ready to tell people that
Yeah. Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
pregnant, right? So you don't really make the announcements at that time. But no, entire 500 people in that festival, they knew that it is my project, and I
Okay.
am not there. And of
Because
course,
of
the
this.
reason for me not being there,
Yeah.
and there were entire 500 people. So yes, I was a little angry that everybody came to know that I'm pregnant.
Okay.
But
But
I
it turned
I
out to
think
be a
it's that
blessing now.
collect.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I
Yeah.
think I received the collective blessing of 500 people.
Of
I
course.
received that blessing so much that I have a beautiful daughter. I've always wanted a daughter, so my dream came true. And
Okay.
so my husband always wanted a daughter, and she turned out healthy. We had a very beautiful pregnancy and delivery, so everything went perfectly well. And I think that is one of the reasons, is because I got the collective blessings of so many people. So I'm really
Yes.
thankful to the universe for that.
Oh, that's so nice. No, so nice. So, if you, I'm just curious about to watch that performance. Actually, if you could share me the link, I have to post this on my page and let people know this is how it is done. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. I
Yeah,
think I've not,
yeah.
but good. I have the video, but I've not uploaded it on any channel. But maybe I think
Okay.
I'll upload it now. This gives me a good reason to upload it, and I'll send it
Yes.
to you.
Yes. Sure. Sure. I'm pleasure uploading it on our page. Even. Yeah.
Thank you so
So.
much. Thank you
No
so
problem,
much.
Jyoti. So, my next one is like, what advice would you give to someone who is interested in exploring Afro Latin kind of dance styles, like Kizomba, but they
Yeah.
may feel intimidated or unsure about where or how to start, how to begin with? So, what kind of advice you would like to give them?
Uh, so I think my one single advice would be, do your research. So if you are interested in Afro Latin dance forms, and you want to learn and you are confused about where to start, how to start, is that definitely do your, they're intimidated by, how close this dance form is and all of that. Do your research. Please understand that this is not our culture. This is somebody else's culture, and we are trying to acquire it. And the right way to acquire it is to give respect to their culture by, first way of giving respect to their culture is to know about them, to study them, to
Okay.
do their research. Yes, you can only see two people dancing so closely with each other, but why they're doing it, from where this has music has been born, and who, and your research would also involve that, find out teachers who are also educating in the right way with a culturally appropriate way. So just
Okay.
like how we also would not like our culture and dance forms being mutilated by Western people, Western world. So even it's the same thing with this also. African people, they don't appreciate, because end of the day, the especially Kizomba actually has been born out of a very painful period in their life. So when they see Kizomba being danced in an unauthentic way outside, it hurts them. It's
Of course.
disrespectful to them.
Yeah.
So so when you consider learning, so I always feel that learning a new art form or a dance form is not just about training your bodies, it's also about training your ears and your mind. Because training your ears means you need to listen more and more music. When you listen to more and more music which is relevant to Kizomba or African dance forms, you start connecting to it on a different level. Your muscles start responding to it on a much deeper level. So, whatever moves you are learning in class, you will be able to justify to the music in a much more natural way if you listen to more music. Take
Uh,
it one level up is by training your mind. Training your mind is knowing what we do, why we do it, knowing
uh,
the why of your movement. So,
uh,
any movement, African movement that you learn, or any African dance forms that you learn, if you go out searching why we are doing it, or if your teacher is giving you the awareness of why we are doing it, your brain gets a
okay.
little bit of a chemical upgradation, that so your movement comes from a place of awareness. So you're
Yeah.
not just randomly moving your hands and legs to the music. You are moving your hands and legs knowing the history and knowing the reason behind it,
Yeah.
because your brain knows the reason behind it. So when your brain knows the reason behind it, the muscles respond better, the muscle responds quicker, and the muscle responds in a more appropriate way. So that's the difference between a beginner or a basic dancer and an intermediate and advanced dancer. They are not doing different moves. They are still there doing their basic, side basic, forward and back, virgula, retrocesso. They're still doing the same, technically they're doing the same movement, but why does it look different? Because these guys, first they have put in the number of years to train, and other than that, so their muscles are used to responding in a better and more natural way. But also a quicker way of getting there is to train your brain and doing your research around the movement. So when you do the research around the movement, that why this movement exists and where it comes from, your dancing starts looking like a different level. It takes huge leaps and bounds. Like even that's for me also, my personal example also. I started teaching Kizomba much earlier than I technically should have, because back then there were no Kizomba teachers. So I was one of the
Okay.
first generations of Kizomba teachers in India. And back then, Kizomba was not even danced socially much. So, and I directly got into teaching Kizomba from Latin teaching. So, although my body was not really used to it, so I made the effort of doing a lot more private classes, from visiting instructors, from outside instructors, going to them, and and they would give me drills to make it look more natural, to make it look more African per se, right?
Okay.
And I
Yeah.
would drill them weeks after weeks, months after months, years after years, but no difference, you
Yeah.
know? And then
Okay.
suddenly, then I started reading up. I started reading, okay, Angola, its history. Okay, where are these music dance from? What are the meanings of these words? Why they used to dance Kizomba? How they used to dance Kizomba? And then suddenly, overnight, I started seeing change in my jinga or in my flavor of the way I interpret dance.
Okay.
So, and I ended up looking more and more closer to how they look when they dance. So, I think that mental rewiring that happened because of doing the research made all the difference in my body and in my muscles' response to the music. So, any person who is interested to learn African dance forms or dance forms that belongs to any other culture, you need to do your research, and it
Okay.
makes a world of a difference. Or at
Okay.
least go to teachers who have done their research and they are imparting that same knowledge to you.
Okay.
So at least, so your own, because, end of the day, these are, Angolan culture especially, because they had their first stable government in 2002. So the history and the records and everything is not constructed in a consumable way. It is
Yeah.
very like most of the history and records are destroyed, they are scratched out, the books have been burnt in all that struggle and civil war and all of that. Musicians and researchers were murdered, and so a lot of information has been lost. So I
Okay.
have done a lot of research. I've interviewed these musicians, I've interviewed these DJs and dancers and community leaders, senior members, and I've heard their stories. And over so many period of so many years, I have collected that data, and I have my research in place. But yeah, I can
Okay.
understand why it is difficult. So I think as a teacher, it is my responsibility also to get that research in place so that I can give it in a more structured and consumable manner to my students so that, the journey that I had to do to get the natural movements for them, it is either easier or shorter.
Okay. Yeah. So for a beginner, it is the first important thing is research and choose the right teacher for you who
Yeah,
had made the research even. Yeah. So that's the takeaway
yeah,
for all the
yeah, yeah.
beginners who are listening to it. And looking ahead, what are your aspirations and goals for the future of your dance school and the Afro Latin dance community in Chennai or wherever? Yeah.
So, yeah, last year I was able to do part of my dream or part of my aspiration is to bring a taste of Angola in Chennai. So I did this event called
Okay.
Angolan Elegance Chennai, which was a purely authentic Kizomba event. The music, the classes,
Okay.
everything. I just had got one Angolan artist, Carlos Camba. He's my mentor also. So I still learn from him even now. So he came in, and so we did a Angolan elegance. It was a proper Kizomba event in Chennai, and I got to give a taste of Angola here. So my short-term aspiration for me personally is now I want to go to Angola and maybe finish my research and complete it and learn from the source and actually go dancing there and go to the dance schools in Angola and learn right from the source and dance like a local, that is my personal goal for me. And for my company, I see maybe a few years down the line, I want to do like not just bring in one artist of Angola, I want to bring a bunch of Angolan artists, a lot of Angolan artists here and create like a mini Angola here for like 3 days
Nice.
or so that
Nice.
people can which means Angolan music, Angolan food, Angolan people, and thanks to my research and everything, I am having some network with the Angolan embassy that's in India. So I'm in touch with them, and I'm gonna try and bring the Angolan diaspora that is here in India and have it like a
Nice.
cultural exchange where we get a proper taste of what a true blue Angolan, Kizomba. Kizomba means party, right?
Okay.
What an Angolan party
Okay.
looks and feels like. So yeah, a little
Okay.
slice of
So
Angola here in Chennai.
that's so interesting, and I'm looking forward to it. You
Thank
will be
you.
doing it better than your last event. I'm sure. I'm sure about it. So,
Hopefully,
and as we
hopefully.
came to the end of the show, as we came to the end of the show,
Yes,
here's my
yeah.
last questions to you. In short, you have explained more things about dance and your experience, journey, and everything. In short, what is dance to you?
Um, I think that I have only one word answer to that. For me, I think it's a common answer that probably every dancer would give. For me, dance is life.
Okay.
Okay, it's
Yeah.
life. A single word. Dance is
Yeah.
life. It's everything in one. It's emotion, it's pain, it's happiness, it's joy. It's the expression of my whole big being. It's spirit. It's my child. It's my daughter. It's like
Yeah.
everything. Dance just encompasses my whole life in one word. It's like it's just my universe,
Life.
it's my world. It's my
Okay.
life. Yeah, dance is life.
That's so cool. That's so cool. That was super awesome to have a conversation with you, Amy. I'm sure that this conversation will give our audience a clarity and inspires them to move forward. And there will be definitely a
Yes,
few
I hope
takeaways from
so.
these conversations. Yeah. So once again, thank you so much.
I'm so
And
glad.
your words, please.
Thank you for having me. It was really exciting to do this. I already was very excited when I saw that you started this podcast, and it's really impressive what you've done with Salsa Kuwai in Coimbatore also, and even remotely managing family work, dance. Like you are an inspiration yourself.
Oh,
So
thank you.
when someone like you, who's such an inspiration, who's so dedicated, comes out and starts sharing stories of other people, it just shows amazing amount of humility and dedication to your craft. And I'm so proud and so honored
Thank you.
to be a part of this, and I'm so proud to see your journey, as if you call me a teacher or mentor, I'm just so happy to see your journey that has happened so far. And it just makes me so happy just to see you grow like this and see you giving back to the community so much
Yes.
in so many ways and channels. So, really big applause for you, and
Thank you. Thank you so
may
much.
you continue
Yeah.
all the blessings and good vibes so that you can continue doing this and keep
Thank you so
inspiring
much.
generations of dancers to come.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Sure, sure. I will keep on inspiring with your help and with all the community support and all the dancers behind. So,
100%.
thank you once again so much. And please do follow Amateurs Dance School, and I'll post the links on my all the platforms, so you can have a look at Emmy's works and things, and ready to watch that video clip of that memory
Video.
and stuffs. Yeah. So keep supporting
100%.
our channel, and keep follow our page too, in YouTube, Apple Podcast, Spotify, and even in Instagram. So all the descriptions will be given below. Thank you all the audience who are listening to the show. It's great to have a conversation with Amy today. So once again, thank you all, and see you all on another episode next week. Until then, it's Anoop Karthick signing off. Thank you. Bye.